Hello, everyone. I'm your president, Nikki Fargas, and today I am joined by Lynette Woodard. Lynette, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
I mean, you know what? One of the things that I love is that I've had the opportunity, probably the past 6 months, to get to meet you, get to know your story, but more importantly, I'm so impressed of who you are as the person. Just talk about how basketball has kind of helped shape you to who you are today.
I can honestly say that for me, basketball is life. It's given me everything. I've played it since I was a child. Every lesson that I've learned in life has probably come from the game, especially once I mastered it and then I look back. But yeah, it was the thing that I loved when I grew up, and my mom, she would always tell me she would take it away from me if I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. So I made sure all my homework was done and my chores were done. But yeah, basketball has been great, and it's given me life.
Well, obviously it paid off, because when you look at your career and your college career, we've got to talk about that, because playing for Kansas also, you had an unbelievable coach, someone who has been so instrumental in the development of so many young women, and then coached Washington. I think she's one of those pioneers of the game, someone that I know growing up, you didn't hear a lot of, hear a lot about black coaches, and especially black head coaches. And so for her to be able to be the standard for us at such an early time when it wasn't popular for us to be holding those positions.
Yes, you're right. I chose the University of Kansas, one, because it was home, because of their academics, and certainly because of Coach Washington. When I met her, she was someone who was traveling on the national team. And that was really foreign to me, to think that a person that was playing basketball, a female, could go overseas and play. However fate would have it, her teammate was her mom was was like a secretary at my elementary school. And she would bring me pictures of her daughter, and Coach Washington would be in those pictures as well, who played on the national team. Her name is Colleen Bowser. And so it was like those two were out there for me to follow. But once I met Coach Washington, and she talked to me about, academics, getting a degree, and things that no one had ever talked to me about, I said, yeah, this is the school I want to be at. And this is someone who can guide me and show me which way to go.
Well, the school that you chose, obviously you were good to them as well. AIAW scoring leader, over 3,000 points at 36.49 to be exact.
Thank you.
And so, I know there's been a lot of conversation regarding Caitlin Clark and that record, the scoring record, but I want you to be able to tell our audience, what that meant for you at that time, and then what does it mean for us to have the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses who are bringing attention, so that the pioneers and those who have paved the way also can be highlighted, and people can know and be educated by this.
First of all, let's just start with the younger players, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, who has brought so much attention to the game most recently. And because of them, people are comparing records. Right. My record was one of them with 3,649 points. But more than that, my thoughts are with the NCAA, who should recognize the AIAW records. That's what I want to happen. They have not. That's where a lot of controversy is coming from, because we have a lot of new fans in the game, and that's just a part of the history that's been forgotten, so to speak. It's a hidden dynasty. There are so many stories, not only mine, of players that have done, it was really the foundation of the game. The reason why the players enjoy such luxury today is because of the hard work that we put in. We didn't have the NIL, we didn't have social media, we didn't have the television exposure that these players experience today. Even the Pro League, all those things are just, part of the fruit from the tree. But, I played at a time when you barely got an article in the newspaper. And if you did get a paragraph, it was always the last page, no picture. And, if you made it to the state tournament, you might have got a little more. But it goes on and on. But it was a lot of people who made a lot of sacrifices, played for the love of the game. I was one of those. And just to see how it's developed, you know, I can be more proud of what these players are experiencing, especially on the economic side. You know, it's getting better and it's going to get better. But yeah, I just love where the game is going.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head when you talk about and spoke about the different level of platforms that are available, whether it's social and digital television now. The coverage that women's sports is receiving is so much more than what we've had in the past. But even when you look at the WNBA and our existence, when you were coming through college and graduating from college, this wasn't a league that you could participate in. You had to go overseas, and now you put in work overseas as well. But just talk about you coming out of retirement and wanting to help grow the WNBA since 1997.
Yes, when I think back, I think of the young players again. You know, those that are in camps right now, the babies, the AAU players. They have something to dream about.
Yes.
They can dream about getting a college scholarship. They can dream about going to the Olympics. They can dream about being part of the WNBA. But when I came along, none of that existed. Mm-hmm. And we just had to keep the faith. And faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We did not see it. Mm-hmm. But we had people who believed in the fight. And thank God for Title IX, that piece of legislation that really was a foundation for everybody. To fight for the rights for women in sport. Because of that, we're here. Because of that, I hope that in what I was doing, I could help somebody else in the future. And so that's how it's gone.
Well, you're helping people in the future. You're helping people right now. You've helped people in the past. But your resume, us going into an Olympic year, and you being a two-time Olympian. Let's just dive in a little bit about this year's Olympic team. Give me your thoughts on our roster, what the committee was able to put together.
Well, you know, I've looked at the roster. We've got a very strong roster. I see gold. I'm going to always see gold with the U.S. team. I just think they have to work together and blend, you know, and I think the coaches have that in hand. So if everybody works hard and just put those egos aside, because everybody's a star, and just you know, follow the playbook that the coach has for them, I think they'll be fine.
What was one of your most memorable moments when you played for Team USA in winning gold?
Well, it was kind of edgy for me in 1980 when I played for the Olympic team. Because we had the boycott. You know, we had prepared, you know, to make the team, and then all of a sudden there was a boycott. So that meant we could not go. But we had the good fortune of being able to play the teams that we were going to face in the Olympics, only to decline the invitation at the end. So, you know, that was, you know, that's what we got. But there are other athletes who had to just stop right there. Right. And those are the ones that my heart went out to. At least we had a little something.
Yeah.
But we came back. I was fortunate enough to come back in 1984. I, you know, trained for those 4 years in the interim, and we played the Olympic Games in Los Angeles. We played, and we got the gold. Played for the great Pat Head Summit. Everything was like storybook, but I was coming back with a vengeance. I did it once. There was no boycott now. I didn't wait this long for anything. So I was really focused. So were my teammates, and we weren't accepting anything less.
You know, we're looking at Team USA, women's basketball in particular, going for their 7th consecutive gold medal. And you were part of starting that and creating that history. Then the other thing historically that you've done is you were the first female Harlem Globetrotter. I want people to understand that. Like the first female Harlem Globetrotter. What was that experience like for you?
It was great. Again, it was a dream come true for me. I had a cousin who played for the Globetrotters, Hubert Geese Osby, who was a showman. So of course, every time they would come through town, I'm from Wichita, Kansas, my family would take us to see the game. You know, my brother, he had all the teams. I didn't know anyone, but when I saw the Globetrotters, I was hooked. And so that was a team that always resonated in my heart. And I not only, you know, tried to watch all the wizardry that I could see them do, I tried to learn it. And then when, you know, they had gone out of town, I had the good fortune of watching Scooby-Doo after school, who had the Globetrotters on. So I learned a lot. But again, I love that team. Every time I met someone who could do something fancy with the basketball, I wanted them to teach me. And I just put this little routine together, thinking that one day, you know, if I didn't play for the Globetrotters, even though it was my dream, that I could always pick up a basketball and do something fancy. So that's pretty much how that went. But we had a tryout in Charlotte, North Carolina. I think there were 26 women that were invited all over the United States. We had the McGee twins.
Yes.
You know, I think they were the leading candidates, but Linda Hawkeye Page from NC State, but other names I can't really remember right now. But we went and you know, we were going at it. And after a week, the Globetrotters really couldn't decide what they wanted to do, so they decided to have another trial. Okay, so they cut it to like 10 or 15, whatever. And we later went to Burbank, California.
Okay.
And at that time, the Globetrotters came out. And the thing that I heard most was, you know, they couldn't believe how far women's basketball had come. So they knew early that women's basketball was coming down the pike. And I think they really appreciated the talent that they saw, especially the brand of basketball that they play. You have to really focus and know your job. And so anyway, fundamentals was a big deal for me. They wanted to see a lot of fundamentals in those camps. And the thinking was, you know, if you can do the fundamentals, we can teach you the rest.
See, you hear that? The young ones that are trying to get into sports, period. It's fundamentals.
Fundamentals is the key. And so the rest was history. That was the foundation. After a week of tryouts, then the announcement was made. And it's funny, my cousin who was with the Globetrotters had called me prior to that time. And, you know, I was so excited. I jumped on the phone, you know, Geese, is this really happening? Because I had asked him many times, what do you think about a female being a part of the team? And he really didn't have an answer for me. He would always tell me it was up to management. And so, you know, here was my chance, you know, to be out here. And after the announcement was made, my family was in the audience. And, you know, I could hear them scream. I never heard my name, so that's how that went. But everyone looked down at me. I knew that I was the one that was chosen. But truly, it was a dream for me. I always talked about it growing up. I had that poster of the Globetrotters on my wall. And you know, it was just great to have it happen.
Which allowed for other female to join the Harlem Globetrotters. I remember a good friend of mine, Jolette Law, also was a Globetrotter. But, you know, when you look at the game today, and you look at the game when you played, what are some of the differences? What have you seen that are like, okay, this is new for this century, but when we played, this is what we were known for. What are you seeing? Well,
I think the players are greater today, actually, because they had an opportunity to see what the game could be like. And they've started younger. I mean, these grassroots programs, you can go into a coliseum and hear 3,000, you know, sneakers squeaking, and they're all young women all over the gym, and that's amazing to me. When, you know, I think about when I started, I was the only female. If someone else showed up, I was like ecstatic. But to see so many young ladies enjoying the game and loving it and just growing in it is amazing to me.
What advice, you know, because obviously you have a lot of nuggets there that you could share with our fans, with the young generation. But what advice would you give, you know, someone who's coming up now in this era, obviously understanding all of the social impact that they could place on their communities respectively, but what would be something that you would share with that young audience?
Start with the fundamentals again. Represent your family, represent yourself, represent the organization that you're with in a way that is going to be acceptable and upstanding, upright. And then after that, know your craft.
Yes.
Learn the game to the best of your ability. Take it to its highest heights. Whatever your gift is, just take it to the max. I also think you have to understand the business of the game now, because it's no longer waiting until you get to the professional leagues to get contracts. I mean, that's happening right now at the collegiate level with the NIL. You've got the social media to worry about. You can say one thing right, everything is right. You can say one thing wrong, and the whole world is coming after you. So, there are many things that you have to take into consideration. I would say, build yourself a good camp. People that you respect, that you can take advice from, that will help you see yourself beyond yourself and help you think about the greater good of what's happening in your situation. Because you're young, I mean, you have your feelings, you have your thoughts, and and they may be legit.
Right.
But hey, it may be a greater good out there that you're able to serve.
Yes, for sure. So tell me, before we conclude here, just tell me what is going on with you now? What do you got going on in your life? We talked a little bit about it, and you are a busy, busy woman.
Yes, I like to stay busy. I still work out,
Oh yeah, the pickleball.
Yeah, I'm into
You're talking about that
pickleball
pickleball.
now. I like to bike ride, and I still like to shoot around. So I like to keep busy with sports first of all, but I consult with companies. I am the advisor to the president of the Harlem Globetrotters. I work with different companies just as a think tank sometimes to give input from the athletic side and what's trending in women's sport. I also do public speaking. And so, I just keep busy, and I'm enjoying life.
Yes.
As I should.
Yes.
And
as you deserve.
And get to meet people like you and come on your show. I like to do that always. So thank you very much.
No, anytime you want to come back, we would be more than happy to have you. So, but thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being here today, and we're going to continue to give you your flowers because they are well deserved. So, Lynette, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate you.